So, Jeannie Lennox, Small Business Relationship Manager at Santander Bank. What does a small business relationship manager do?
So what I do is I have a portfolio of clients that in my swim lane of what I generally work with is revenues of $500,000 to $3 million are the companies that I generally work with. I can work with other companies, of course, so any size, but especially if they have different kinds of needs. So what I do with my portfolio clients is I'm their relationship manager where I'm their point of contact, as well as the branch, of course, but I actually can travel. I'm a little more convenient sometimes where the branch manager is managing the branch and I am managing their relationships with the bank, as well as I develop new business for the bank. So I do prospect out. I also work on referrals. So I do actually generally try to service my customers well enough so that they will refer me to companies and other people that they know. I can facilitate on the retail side. I don't generally work on the retail side, but for my business owners, of course, I can try to facilitate everything for them because we do have a great program, Santander at Work. So I do help facilitate for companies that want to offer some benefits to their employees. So I can schedule that where we come out, do an on-site at their company and offer them some different perks as well. But I do a lot with the lending. So I do a lot with business lending and upgraded online wire services, ACH, direct deposit services. I facilitate with payroll and credit card processing. So everything on the business.
A little bit of everything. So are these businesses that are, been going for a while, they startups? What's kind of the mix of the businesses that you deal with?
So I can work with anything, of course. My portfolio clients are obviously existing, and I bring in businesses that could be starting up or have been in business. We do actually, amazingly enough, not a lot of banks do that. We do startup lending. So a lot of businesses that come to a lot of different commercial banks, because I worked with one for over 15 years that would not even look at a startup. Really? So you had to be in business already to do any kind of lending. We work very well with the SBA. So we have a great program, very streamlined. So we do help facilitate that. So yes, I work with startups all the way up to existing customers.
What's the range of businesses you work with? Is there a particular type? Is there one that's more often than others, or is it run the gauntlet?
It does run the gauntlet because we're a commercial bank. Yeah. I can't say that I've done a lot with contractors. I've done restaurants. I've done, canine services kind of places. I've dentists, attorneys. Doctors, so it really does run
Is there one that's more interesting than the others, or you're like, wow, this is really different and neat?
No, I love every kind of business. I'm very. I always tell people I'm almost like a fan of any business owner because I feel like I'm always the one. I help facilitate a lot of things, so then I do a lot of things, but I'm not the one taking the risk and actually jumping in. I work for a bank, so I kind of feel like, I wish I could do, and I do know a lot about business, but I really always feel like I'm not that kind of, kind of person that could actually go in for myself. I'd rather have the bank behind me. Yeah. They're all interesting.
You're almost kind of like a consultant in a way to them, like an advisor.
Yes. So I am their business advisor. Yeah. So I can help, whatever someone brings to me is what I'm going to try to find some kind of solution, some kind of thing that we can assist with, whether it not be with us direct. Maybe it is something that they don't know necessarily about the SBA itself. So maybe I can help them or seed something like the Southeastern Economic Development Corp, something that can help them, with what they're looking for to do. So even if it's not the bank, I can kind of consult on other things to say, I've seen this.
Is there one thing that you're generally helping with them more often than others?
Lending's very popular, lending is probably one of the things I do the most of. But where we have our own credit card processing, so payment processing, any way of them getting their funds in, right, from their clients, customers. So I really feel like, and just in general, just their managing of their accounts, just their accounts themselves. Yeah.
So how long have you been with the bank?
So I've been with Santander over a year and a half now. Mm-hmm. So it's great. I love the feel and what they stand for, which is when you go to the bank, you'll see respect. Everywhere is respect. That's their very big thing. They want to respect your time, respect you as a individual, as a business, as a person. So I do like that.
What's the normal day consist of? Is there a typical day?
It's not exactly typical. I feel like in my position, because it's so flexible. I do work by appointment generally, but I go with where the wind takes me most of the time. So I do start up in the morning with obviously my emails. Probably before 8:30, I'm already logging on just to make sure of what, if anything, is going on that I need to respond to. And if I have conference call on certain days, and then certain meetings with the branch, I do meet with them regularly, all my branches that I cover, so that I can find out what's going on, what we need to do to work together. And I said, it's usually via appointment, or if I have a blocked off time to contact my existing portfolio customers, or to contact some different companies in the area. We generally can send out some information to them. I usually follow up to see if they've received things, anything we can help them with. They will need a contact at the bank, give them my information. So my day is very varied depending on how my week looks, of how many appointments are already slotted, how many I'm looking to, reach out.
Are you in the office mostly? Are you on the road? Do you do business house calls, I guess?
Yes, I do. So I travel. So
Okay.
I do go out to people's businesses. I always tell people that, when they look for me in the Marshfield branch, which is my main office, I may or may not be there depending on, I'm
chance.
pretty much there every other day, if not, some weeks it is every day. But it depends on how many appointments I have. So if I may be, at multiple businesses in that day, or I could be at my branch for a few hours working on different things, because I do need to obviously have office time of scanning and doing different things, printing things out. So very in and out. That's why I usually tell people if they can let me know when, I can make sure I'm there,
make
because
sure
I
you're
always
there.
have time to do things there anyway, so it's
Right.
great. But sometimes I have to change that time that it originally
sure.
had when a
For
customer
sure.
calls me and says, "Can you do this?" or "Can you meet me?" and go.
A majority of the people you work with Marshfield businesses, or how does that work?
So Marshfield is my main office, and it's my main location.
Okay.
I do have a South Shore area, which is Pembroke, which is right on the line. So a lot of my customers, maybe I almost feel like it's Marshfield, but it's Pembroke itself. And so those are my two biggest areas, is Marshfield, Pembroke. But I also have Halifax and Bridgewater.
Okay.
So I'm always within a half hour of being usually at this branch.
Okay.
So I can usually meet my customer within an hour if they call me, if I'm not in Marshfield itself.
One of the things that's always important in business, and it's mentioned on every single podcast we've done, is partners, relationships. Who are the best partners for you?
So for me, I find that obviously CPAs, bookkeepers, those people that are helping the businesses establish themselves, helping them make some of their financial decisions, attorneys. Those are the ones that obviously are the best partners, because they see a lot of the same kind of customers, or every industry like me.
Right.
Like they see every kind of business. It's not a specific, it's only doctors, it's only, in general, they're, every kind of business, so that they can actually refer, some banking sometimes to them, and especially CPAs, because they're looking like, for deductions, like say they want to depreciate something. They're like, you need to, if you finance this piece of equipment that you already need, things like that. So obviously that's a lot of times who I can work very well with, because they're looking for a good bank that can help their customers get a streamlined process of getting getting the lending, understanding some different things, and being in the business industries, like, for so many years, to know things.
Right.
But we have a business referrer friend, so any business can refer and actually get a benefit from referring to me. So any established business relationship that I already have, that they've appreciated what I've done for them, see that I'm responsive, that they can get a hold of me, that I was knowledgeable about what they needed, listen to what they needed, and refer other businesses that they know, family, friends, what have you.
So your job consists of not only taking care of your current customers, also trying to grow the customer base as well.
Exactly. It's a very big combination of both, where I do, obviously, because I'm direct with the bank, so I have my customer service where I do anything I can for any of the existing relationships we have for business. And then also I am slotted on growing the business in this area, and trying to get us out there in any way we can, basically.
A lot of banks do this type of work. What separates you guys? What makes Santander really kind of stand above any other bank that's doing something similar? Yeah.
So for me, like I said, I came from, my background's always pretty much been banking. So to me, it's the ease of some of the lending that I've been able to do, where at some of the other banks I've worked at, it was not the case, where we couldn't have looked at it, entertained it. I like that they try to find a solution. They have a lot of respect for us on the field and the customer's needs, and they have what's called the ear, where we can actually put things in to say, if there's a problem, they want to know what it is, or if there's a need out there, they want to know, so that maybe we can address, the bank can address it. And I like that part of it. It feels a lot like what I was used to years ago when I was in banking. That I even like, their campaigns that they have out there. They have a lot of philanthropy kind of stuff, like a lot of, they match your donations. They give you the volunteer time off that they pay for. So I feel like all those kind of things make it where that, to me, it stands out more than some of the other banks that I've worked at.
There's been a theme in this podcast, it's come up, is that there seems to be an increase in a lot of types of things in community service and customer service. It's just come across with a lot of those in banking, insurance, a lot of those things. It seems like it's becoming more and more, a bigger issue.
I feel like
item.
I feel like because it's out there and I think that they're recognizing that there's a need, that they need to help on their end, where it's we need to give them some paid time off so that they can, they love this, certain not-for-profit that they want to help
Get involved in the community.
And do this, that they need to be out there in the community. And I feel that they know everyone, respects that, and they want to have a way to help them do it.
Right.
So I think that's why they're letting it be that they're having so many more programs out there than maybe before, and so many ways to do that. And it's great because in this day and age, I think that's what they know that needs to be done, basically. I mean, everyone's busy with work. There's so much, everyone has to have these 40 hours. It's not 40-hour work week. It's more than that.
Not.
So I feel like that's why I think some of the companies are recognizing that and doing that, because they know, like, especially in my kind of position, it's definitely never a 40-hour work week. And when do you find the time to do the other things that you really want to do and do the right thing in the community? Because they want to do what's right. I think that a lot of the companies are realizing, let's do what's right for the communities we're in, not just...
And probably being in the community, you see so many really cool things or great groups doing great stuff that you feel like, it's important to kind of contribute to them.
Yes, which is why we joined the chamber, so that we can actually get out there and be able to, do different things, where now I can actually look and find some things through the chamber. I mean, meeting with Lara, looking at, Boys and Girls Club and some different things I want to be involved in, that I really feel like, especially where I told her that everyone at my company has that volunteer paid time off. So if they let us know different things, we may be able to get a lot of the branch involved now as well.
So you're enjoying the chamber, experience?
I am. Since I just joined the other month.
I'm an old member. We were talking previous. I'm a former president, so I'm fully bought into it.
Exactly. So I am enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to becoming more a part of it. Maybe at some point going on the board. I really want to get out in the community and do a lot more for here, for this area. I'm really a big proponent of things like that.
As someone that works with a lot of business, what's maybe a piece of advice you would give to someone who's interested in maybe coming to you for your help and assistance? Maybe a tip, to kind of make your job easier in helping them.
I mean, to make my job easier, I mean, a lot of times it's making sure that maybe if they're brand new, that maybe they use some of the resources that are out there for them to help get some things, like a business plan, like a lot of businesses don't know that they can go, and there's different resources that they can use to get those kind of things. If I was going to be working with someone who was trying to start up and get into something, if it's an existing one, to make things easier, sometimes it's great if they have some of their current needs or banking or something that they can figure what's lacking, like what's making them even look to do something else. Just because obviously I want to find solutions for them and find a way to make it so that I can help streamline their business. So that would be always helpful.
Talk about you. Talk about your background. You from the area? Things like that.
I'm always South Shore.
Are you always?
Yes. Born right in Stoughton.
Awesome.
Lived right in Whitman-Hanson the whole time. So I'm in Halifax now. So I'm only about a half hour away from my office, which is great. And my in-laws live in Marshfield, so so my last name is in Marshfield.
Really?
Yeah, they live right behind the high school over here.
Awesome.
So and I used to work in Marshfield years ago at Bank of Boston and Bank Boston right before it turned to Fleet and Bank of America. So I'm only a few buildings over from where I worked back in like 99.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, I actually came back to Marshfield. I said, years later, I'm back in Marshfield, a few buildings over. I used to always go to TD's Deli and get my little subs.
Wow.
And yes, and my sister-in-law's sister used to work in the tanning thing right there.
Oh, wow. So you have Marshfield connections.
I am always in Marshfield. I was in Wicked Local and Mariner within a few weeks of each other in October. Wow. Thought it was funny because I brought my family to a little event, and then I hosted an event for women in business in October. So we had Wicked Local over
That's
there
awesome.
too.
Talk about that women in business event. I saw some things online about it.
Yes, very exciting. So Santander does promote a lot of different things, and they do sponsor a lot of things. And earlier in the year, it was just a small business in general month, and then in October, it was women in business was their focus, and they were celebrating women in business. So they had a whole great opportunity to actually nominate a woman-owned business to be spotlighted right on the website. They have this business hub site that's really great that has a lot of information on it. And they actually gave some every week we actually had some different things about women in business, just helping for marketing and hiring and different things like
cool.
that. So we had some great resources for that. And it was just really great that they spotlighted. And I had a keynote speaker that was delightful. She was great. And within every area, they actually were running these women in business events throughout the whole month. So there was lots of events actually all over the area. So it was great because we kind of partnered up. Like I partnered up with the Plymouth. So it was Plymouth, Marshfield, Pembroke. We all kind of had together. But that was just great. And so what Santander, like I said, did that same kind of thing in May, where it was just a after-hours networking. But this one actually was focused on women-owned business. So
That's great.
And maybe with the chamber, they said I could actually run maybe something that they were going to be coming up with that was a women-owned business.
There seems to be a lot of them in the area, a lot of women-owned business. If you actually look at the chamber board,
Women-owned.
it's a very woman-strong, woman-owned
Yes.
business group, which is great for a small community, for a smaller community.
Yes, absolutely. It is.
So what got you interested in banking?
So it was in college. My sister actually worked in banking at Bank of Boston. And so I went there and I started in their call center. My degree was in business at Bridgewater State anyway. So I really liked the idea of banking. I only went out of it for a few years, actually, and went right back in within 2 years later, actually. So I think I was only out of banking since college for only 2 years.
Wow.
So I've always been in banking. Cool. I've been on both sides of retail. I've been branch manager, banker. I've done it all, worked up to a different level, and then stayed in business. So I've partnered with the bank for actually a couple of years. I did the credit card processing.
Okay.
So still with the bank, but it was doing that part of it. So it's still working with businesses. So being in the position of working with businesses is always my favorite part of the banking.
That's my next question. You enjoy the personal side, the business side. Which one?
I do enjoy both. I mean, I like helping people with equities and referring them for mortgage and things. So I did like both. Business happens to be, I think, more of my my love. Right, is with being with business. I feel like working with business owners, they're just so great. I love learning about people's businesses, getting involved with them, being excited for their successes and all the different things that they're doing. So when they're telling me about all their different projects and all their exciting things that they're endeavoring into, that's my absolute favorite thing to do. And I really feel like maybe I'm just a nosy person, so I do need to know about their business. So I think that's my curiosity gets me. So I just love learning about people's business.
Awesome. I like to ask people these type of questions, but maybe what's the best piece of advice you've been given professionally?
So one of my, I would have
or
to say,
or even like, was there like a mentor or someone you had in your career?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I had years ago, one of my business owners, he gave me his advice was that, not just to concern myself with someone's business, about them personally too. So I really feel like I think that's made the difference with me and how I interact with my clients, my prospective clients, anyone I talk to, because you don't just see them as a number or as you actually have to know them personally, like get involved, because no one wants to just be like, oh, that was my person. I don't really know them, or they like to know you. They like to know about your kids and your
value.
So I do like to hear about people's interests, and it's great when you're like, oh wow, you went whitewater rafting, or that's your thing is skiing, or so I feel like that was probably the really best piece of advice, because I think a while ago when I was doing this kind of position years ago, I don't think I was trying to get. Yeah, I was just more like, I just want to get my job and, get in and do this loan or do this. And I think that made me really realize, oh, you know what? People like to deal with a person, not just the bank or not just what you have behind you. It's more, you are a person and you understand them as a person and respect them as a person.
So for those prospective clients that want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
So I'm always at the branch too. So obviously we have our location, and they always are connected with me. But my email is very easy because it's just my name, Jeannie.Lennox at Santander.us. And my cell phone is on my business card, and I answer it everywhere.
Really? Good for you.
Unless I'm out of the country. But even if I'm just in Florida, I will answer my cell phone.
You travel a bit?
No, only a couple times a year probably. But yes, I do. I go on we've started a cruise thing that we're trying to do, so in February. So again, I'm going again this February.
Awesome.
Hopefully, we'll see if that continues. My husband might want to put a kibosh on my little cruising ways, but
he's going, right?
He's going, but it's hard with the kids trying to juggle it. But other than that, we both enjoy it. That's why we want to keep on going. But,
how many kids do you have?
So 2 kids.
Awesome.
A boy and a girl.
Cool. One of the things that we like to ask people is if they were able to kind of jump in the pretend time machine and go back to the beginning of their career, what's the piece of advice you'd give them?
Well, I think it is basically stay the course and really. I really feel like sometimes we get overwhelmed with certain things. We're like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's just too much. But I feel like sometimes it's worth doing the extra that sometimes you're like, well, I just want to do my job. That's it. I really feel like sometimes it's, if I could go back, I really feel like you would be like, hey, just do this, even though it's going to be extra work and you're going to have to travel a little bit, but then it's going to be worth what you're doing. So I think it's just stay the course, and even if things are a little difficult, to try to, stick with, what you're doing instead of just kind of like, oh, that's a lot.
Right.
I don't want to do extra.
Let me ask you this, because Marshfield's really unique in that, a lot of people have been here for a long time and all that. And as someone that you work in business, you're working, trying to help businesses grow. What's something that Marshfield needs business-wise? What would you like to see? You're still a newbie, pretty much. I've been here 12 years, and I'm still kind of a newbie in some regards. But what's maybe some type of economic development that you would like to see the community have?
So, I like what Lara was speaking about, like almost having that walkability, like having that area almost more like the Derby area. I do like those.
Walkable downtowns.
Yes, I do like that, and I really think like what they're doing is right for what it is, because that would be, for me, just working here too. It would just be great. So I do like what they're doing there. Anyway, but only because I love going to the Derby area. I used to. For the other bank, I used to manage in Hingham, so it was if you went down that area, it's a very nice area. So I have to say that I kind of already. What they're looking in the horizon to do is what I think.
You're on board.
I'm on board with them.
I'm really on board, and whatever I can do to help.
Exactly. I think it would be nice as a person who works in town and is around and would like to, go after and just kind of, even after work, to have a really nice area like that. To me, it seems like that, even for economic, it's just, bringing even more people. I know a lot of people obviously work tourist area, of course, Bring Rock and, going to everywhere. But I really feel like I'd like that.
Excellent. Well, thanks for doing this. This was great.
Yes, thank you so much.
Welcome to the town.
Back over to the town after years. I am back.
You are true. That's true. All right.
Yes.
We're good.